Lay Garner.
I am John Garner. I'm drinking coffee.
I am having ginger lemon tea, which happens to be quite comforting at this time. Super, super cozy.
All right, and the tune of the day is an original tune called Savoy Bop.
Yay.
So, and we're in the kitchen, in the cozy kitchen, because that's where the tune was written. That's often where they're written, early in the morning with a cup of coffee and a, just in here practicing, jamming out, and you get a little idea and you go with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's so we decided to go back to the scene, get in the cozy clothes, and share this tune with you.
That's right. Because sometimes when you're practicing, like a little line you come across can turn into, is like the seed of a
that's usually
song tree.
how it happens, especially in the first part of the day when I think you're still half in dreamland.
That's
or at
right.
least the sensor hasn't woken up quite yet. At
So
least that much.
the box of creativity is still slightly open.
Yeah, right. The box of
The
creativity.
treasure box.
Right. So there you have it. But I had this image of a swing dance hall in the beginning, and that sort of, you'll hear it in the groove. You'll hear the nice tempo. You'll hear, right, so you'll hear these lines, and you imagine the swing dancers, and a nice kind of, I'm thinking kind of like, not burning hot, but kind of nice bounce.
Nice little,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and then the bop part is, of course, I take some of the lines and make them more angular than maybe a swing era type thing would do, which you'll hear, hopefully, but I can demonstrate. Should I demonstrate?
Please do. I
will
love
demonstrate.
I love hearing these bop lines.
All right, so the swing part is, I'll chunka right here, and then you have, what is it?
Yeah.
Now the end there.
Yeah, that's uncharacteristic.
Bebop, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of angular, right? And then you'll hear a very angular. That's the bebop, and that is the juicy part for us jazz nerds. Right, just like that. We like the spooky notes and the bent notes, and it's because
weird intervals.
We hear a lot of notes. As a musician, you hear notes like a lot, believe it or not.
And it's fun to see what combinations
it's
you can come
fun
up
to
with.
break them and twist them and stuff. So that's why we like these things.
So play that line again. The really.
Oh.
There's the next part.
The whole tone line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
That's a cool one.
It's supposed to be a little disorienting. If you feel disoriented, then it worked. Right? It's supposed to be a little unsettling. We can't just give you all.
But it's not so bad when it's fast. Not mean bad, but you know what I mean. Like you're not as the disorienting factor of it is not as impactful when it's
very
quick.
slight. It's very slight.
That's
like
right.
when you stand up too quickly, maybe, or
Well, I don't know. I feel
blood
pretty
rushes
busy
you.
after that.
Well.
Okay. Moving on. Okay, so then it continues on.
It does, and it does a whole bunch of beboppy things. So I'm not going to go through every single lick, unless you want to know about that. In which case, mention it down there in the comments, and we can nerd out on that, because I do love to geek out on that stuff.
You ask, we shall provide.
Yeah, right, right. So that is the gist of it. It's the Savoy Ballroom, at least in my mind, mixed with a little bebop. And,
I like that.
That's where it comes from. And we're going to tell you a lot about the Savoy Ballroom, don't you worry.
That's right. And the reason why I like this is because it's like a fusion of two of my favorite pieces and kinds of music, swing and bebop and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I personally, we took a Lindy Hop class for like 6 months or so.
It was like a year, I think.
Yeah. Oh wow, that long. And taught us a lot about us as a couple. It really does test your patience. But what's cool is, okay, yeah, I'm down with the traditional like Lindy Hop stuff, you know, and everything. It looks awesome, and I think people are constantly inventing dance moves.
Right.
But I also like this. I kind of think this is like a modern swing tune, you know, because it's mixing the bebop
Sure.
in it.
Yeah.
So, like, it makes me think of, like, a new way of dancing, you know?
Oh no.
Like, you're, like,
Are
doing
we
your
gonna
Charleston.
get this?
You're
Are
doing
we
your
gonna get this on
Charleston.
film?
And you're like,
Oh.
da-da-da-da, Charleston out, da-da-da-da.
Uh-huh.
And then you swing into the skeleton, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You know?
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't that be cool to kind of see those dance moves kind of, like, melding together?
Well, now we have seen
Yeah.
that. I'm glad
Somebody do it. Somebody do it and videotape it and send it to us. I think that'd be cool. I'll invent a new dance craze.
International dance craze.
Exactly.
All right.
So.
There you have it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's try this one out here with a brand new intro. Ready to go?
Sounds good.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Guitar fell off.
Oh my god. Oh, that was.
At least it happened at the end. Not during.
So, you know, I named it Savoy Bop, but I really don't know much about the Savoy. I just know stopping at the Savoy, really, and a couple other songs about the Savoy. But maybe you can tell me something about the Savoy.
I will.
All right.
So, the Savoy Ballroom was located on 596 Lenox Avenue between 40th and 140th and 141st Street in Harlem, Manhattan, New York. And it took up the whole block. This was a big ass ballroom. And it was owned by Mo Gale, a Jewish guy, and managed by Charles Buchanan, a black guy. And these two young men had a vision of putting up this establishment where all kinds of people of black, white, whatever color you were could come together and dance the night away and just forget about the troubles of the Depression and all that was going on at the time. It was a magnificent space. The ballroom itself was on the second floor, and there were two bandstands, and on the two, and then a huge dance floor, which they also called the track, because it was so long. And there are pictures, tons of wonderful black and white pictures. You can look them up yourself. I'll post some of them on there. And you just see so many beautiful people dancing their hearts out. And it said there are like a bunch of stories where the dancers would have their little cliques too, and then they would battle each other and who's the best Lindy Hop dancer. Mm-hmm. And then the bands would play. The reason why they had two bands is so that was nonstop music through the night, mm-hmm. so they would switch off of each other. And then sometimes they would even have a battle of the bands.
Right, probably original battle of the bands there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the most famous battles of the bands, or battle of the bands experiences, was the battle between Chick Webb and
Benny Goodman.
Yeah. That's right. And it was said that in 1937, that battle that they had was won by Chick Webb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I personally wouldn't know how you would decide who was better, because it's like...
Yeah, I'm sure, it was the crowd noise, this thing, this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, or maybe the dancers in particular, like the groove of the Webb's band or something. I don't know, but I'm sure everybody was a winner in that battle, because those two bands were awesome.
Yes, they were.
So.
They were.
Yeah.
And Ella joined Chick Webb's band around 1934, I think. Mm-hmm. I think I read around that time. And so she was the singer for his band. Unfortunately, the ballroom closed October 1958. Mm-hmm. They tried to save it. The Lindy Hoppers tried to save it, and they... but they couldn't. They lost it to the construction of Delano Village Housing Complex. Count Basie was not happy about it. This is what he said. With the passing of the Savoy Ballroom, a part of show business is gone. I feel about the same way I did when someone told me the news that Bill Bojangles Robinson was dead. So it was devastating for a lot of people. And so... on the 26th of May, 2002, Frankie Manning and Norma Miller, and if you don't know who Norma Miller is, she's the, she was dubbed the Queen of Swing Dance. And if you haven't seen her dance, she's spectacular. And there's actually a short little YouTube video with an interview of her put together by
Ken Burns.
Ken Burns, that's right. And it's really fascinating to hear her story, because they lived behind the building, the ballroom, and they could hear the music. And she was a little girl at the time, and they would listen to this music and would dance around in their living room, or just sit out on the
fire escape.
The fire escape, that's right. And they would sit out there and listen to these bands. But then she got a little bit older, a couple years passed, and then she was outside of the ballroom dancing with some friends. And then one of the main guys was out there and was like, "Hey, you, let's dance." So he brings her upstairs, and she's like, "Oh my God," totally starstruck. And then she tells this whole story, but he's like whipping her around, throwing her in the air and stuff, and then after the dance was over, he brings her back to the front doors like, great job. See you next time. And she was like, oh, so super elated. So that was a neat story about her experience. Yeah.
Frankie Manning, you mentioned too.
And also Frankie Manning.
I think there's a bunch of great videos on YouTube too with Frankie Manning.
Where he's teaching a tutorial.
Yeah, he's teaching you. Yeah, those are great. You should check out those.
He's super smooth.
He's funny too.
Yeah. It was like a video in the 80s.
Yeah, it looks that way from the hair on the other girl.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, May 26, 2002, Frankie Manning and Norma Miller and members of Whitey's Lindy Hoppers, they were just a phenomenal Lindy Hop group, unveiled a commemorative plaque for the Savoy Ballroom on Lenox Avenue between 140th and 141st Street.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had known that when we had gone to New York. So that we can go see it.
Well, it's probably still there.
It probably is, yeah.
Okay.
So if you're ever in New York and you're into it, go to that spot and you will see it.
All right, this is a thing now.
Yeah.
All right, we tell people to visit
Yeah,
the things.
that's right.
Now, this is
go here, go there, go here.
Go look at this plaque and take your picture with it.
Exactly.
Okay.
If it's your thing.
All right, it's a thing now. But I'm kind of bummed. I missed it. I was never there. I wish there was some way we could just sort of recreate it and walk down those hallways and just sort of relive it. You know, if there was only some way.
Well, funny you should mention that because da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
That was so.
I found a website called welcometothe-savoy.com.
Okay.
I actually found it through Wiki, and then I went over to the website.
They care about that.
And they had launched a project in April 2019, and this is what I got off of it, and it'll explain everything. It says, "Welcome to the Savoy is a project to reopen the doors of the now lost Savoy Ballroom. In an immersive experience at the crossroads of immersive theater and virtual reality, we want to transport people to the Savoy, Harlem's most captivating night spot and one of the first integrated ballrooms in the U.S., to experience the thrills of swinging big bands, breathtaking dancers, and jazz-age glamour." What's going on is they're getting the dimensions of the ballroom. They're creating the outside, what it would look like in the inside, the interior, so that you can be inside of it.
So they can recreate it for
Exactly.
the VR glasses and everything.
The VR glasses, and what would be cool is if a bunch of people can visit wherever they're featuring this, wear the VR glasses, and then have a virtual reality swing dance event.
That would be cool. Yeah. Where everybody has their own sort of avatar in there, and you can kind of work on that. Put that on your list, your to-do list there, virtual reality people.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
They just have to make the glasses just a little bit more sleek in size, because when you're throwing people in the air, you don't want these things to fly off.
Yeah, I bet they hadn't considered that.
It's aggressive dancing.
I suppose so. Yeah, they need little guys, or maybe little contacts. That would be slick, right?
Everybody's pupils would be black.
Cool.
Ooh.
Nothing spooky.
That's neat.
Okay.
Okay. So there you go. I hope you learned a little bit more about American culture as far as jazz is concerned. I know I learned a lot, and I learned more about the Savoy Ballroom, and hopefully you'll do some more research on it if it's something you're into.
Yeah, definitely. Just a starting point, little launching point here. Yeah. But speaking of launching, let's
move your
launch
neck
into this send-off here.
And this is a sing-along.
Oh, it's now a sing-along, and your fusion dance dance
opportunity.
Along. Right. So I guess we'll just take him out with this. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe.
Please do.
And chat about down there in the chat about part. And All right?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, let's take him out with this. One,
Okay.
two, 1, 2.